Hey Virgo, thanks for checking out your weekly forecast for October 18th through the 24th. This is going to be for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We're going to connect here and see what messages are coming up for you guys. Now keep in mind, if you happen to stumble upon this video outside of the dates I mentioned, don't you worry. You found it whenever you were meant to find it, whenever it was time for you to hear the messages in the reading. Okay, so these are general readings. Not every single message will resonate. Take what does and leave the rest. Let's see what's coming up here for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. One more shuffle. All right, let's get right on into it. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. First card coming up here for you guys is the Eight of Cups. Now, Eight of Cups is a card that can come up when we're feeling a little bit of longing, or we feel like something is missing, but we're not quite sure what it is. So Eight of Cups is when we're coming upon a time where we're on this quest for fulfillment. We're trying to figure out what is going to make us feel fulfilled. Now, the answer to that is that we need to be in our spiritual connection, right? We have like this emptiness, we have this void, and we're trying to fill it with things that are going to make us feel accomplished. So I'm talking about filling a void, and sometimes we can do this in very productive ways. That's when the Eight of Cups comes up. It's like you have this void, and you're trying to fill it with things that people see as very productive. So you might say, you know what? I'm going to feel more fulfilled once I go back to school and I get a bachelor's instead of an associate's, or a master's instead of a bachelor's, or whatever it might be. Or I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be fulfilled when I get this particular job title, or I hit this certain specific salary. And then we might feel, okay, well, you know what? I accomplished that, but I'm happy that I did. I'm grateful that I did, but it didn't make me feel the way I thought it was going to make me feel. So I must have focused on the wrong thing. I guess what I need now is I need to focus on love and relationship, right? And it always becomes the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. We're always going to find happiness and satisfaction in the next goal. But every time we accomplish the goal, we're happy for a little bit, but it doesn't stick. It's like something is still missing. So Eight of Cups comes up to basically say, look, Virgo, whatever you're working on right now, whatever you have your eyes set on right now, you're going to achieve it. You're going to accomplish it. You're going to get what you're after. But until you make your spiritual connection, you're really not going to be able to enjoy the fruit of your labor. You're not going to be able to feel full or satisfied. Always something is going to feel missing. So to save yourself the headache and to be able to enjoy all the hard work you've put into your life, make time for the spiritual connection. I know this can be confusing. A lot of people are like, how do I do it? How do I make the spiritual connection? Or I don't know what I believe in, and I don't know if I believe in a God, and I don't know if I believe in a higher power. And I understand it can be very convincing. Not convincing, I'm sorry. Very overwhelming, very intimidating. Like, how do I do it? I don't even know what I believe. So the first step that you can take is to make time to do things that give you that sense of bliss, that sense of zen, that sense of, wow, it's so nice to have this experience. And I've said this in other readings. For me, it was going swimming. I cannot tell you how much I love being in the water. There's just something so soothing and magical about water for me. Just something that feels so relaxing and so comforting. So there could be other things for you. Maybe it's spending time in nature. Maybe it's gardening. Maybe it's surfing. Maybe it's crafting or painting or tinkering on your car engine, or working with tools in the garage, or listening to music or painting. whatever it might be, just something that puts you in this sense of bliss, in this sense of zen, in this sense of calm. Make time in your schedule to include this at least 3 times a week if you can. 30 minutes 3 times a week. This is going to be the beginning of you opening that door that helps you to make the spiritual connection. It's helping you to go within. We're always looking for the spiritual connection outside of ourselves, and the truth of it is it's inside of you. So this is going to help you to go within. Okay? Long story short, this is going to help you get rid of this something is missing feeling. Now, the next card that's coming up for you guys is the Lovers. Now, this is a major arcana card. Anytime the major arcana cards come up, we are in the energy here of big changes, big transformations, coming into a new chapter in our life. It's a significant turning point. The Lovers card can indicate that some of you might be dealing with a Gemini, or if you have a Gemini placement, there could be big changes happening for you in that area of your life. The Lovers card can absolutely positively have to do with love and romance, like a love relationship, a love situation. But I try to keep the love readings separate on my channel. And so in the weekly forecasts, I look at the cards outside of love and romance, right? If you want detailed love and romance readings, those are listed in the description. You can definitely check those out after this reading if you would like. And so the Lovers card can indicate love and romance. However, what a lot of people don't realize is when the tarot was first put together, the 6th major arcana card was not called the Lovers. Some decks called it the Choice, the Decision, or even the Sacrifice, because the Lovers card is about choosing between options. Do I want the old, or do I want the now? Do I want the now, or do I want the new? Do I want this, or do I want that? And this can be in a love situation, it could be in a work situation, it could be in a personal situation. The Lovers card is, what do we want? What do we love? What are we willing to do to get it? What are we willing to sacrifice for it? What are our deal breakers? And so this is a card that asks us what matters to us, what's important to us, what do we want, and what are we willing to do for it to get there. Now, some of you, keep in mind, my dears and my darlings, some of you might really be focused on love, especially those of you that have been really focused on family or career or healing from a heartache. You might have taken a long break from love, and there's nothing wrong with focusing on love. But what I want to say is this: we have the full moon in Aries coming up on the 20th. Okay, now when the full moon comes in, it's a time that we very naturally, very automatically release. So if any of you have been having blocks around love, there's a really good chance that in the full moon, you are clearing the things that have been blocking you from having meaningful, fulfilling romantic relationships and connections. Okay? Like some of you are like, you want the passion and you want the love, but you also want the substance. And so I feel whatever's been blocking a lot of you from that is being cleared so that you can have the best of both worlds. Okay? One more thing around love and we'll change the subject here. Lover's card also comes up because we have to get clear on what love is to us, right? You might be asking for love, but what does that mean? We have different definitions for love, right? It's going to be different for different ones of us. One person's dream relationship might be a nightmare relationship for somebody else. Somebody told me one time, Amethyst, I've got a great guy in my life. I married a wonderful man. I can't complain about him, but I think I married the wrong person, because neither one of us feels at the end of the day like we can't wait to get home and sit on the couch and hold hands and watch TV and, you know, cuddle all weekend. And that all sounds nice, but that would drive me crazy not to have any free time. I wouldn't be able to do that. It's not my place to say, well, listen, girl, maybe you need to work on your independence. That sounds a little bit codependent to me. It's not my place to judge her experience. It's not my place to tell her what love is. That's her experience. And there's going to be a lot of people out there that would love to have that kind of relationship with her, because that's their idea of love too, right? What is your idea of love? What does it look like to you? Don't just think about the passion and the romance. What is everyday life like with this person? How do you want someone to express love to you? How do you want to express it to them? What are things you guys are doing together in your everyday life? So for some of you, this is a big part of the blockage removal and opening up to that, for those of you who have been really hungry for love or looking for a meaningful relationship. Outside of love and romance, the Lover's card is asking you to do what you feel is most important. And with the 8 of Cups followed by the Lover's card, for some reason, just intuitively, Spirit is speaking to my intuition and saying some of you have been sacrificing your health and emotional and mental well-being for your job. And you might be wondering, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? No amount of money is worth my health or my mental and emotional well-being. So some of you are beginning to realize how much you've been sacrificing and that you've been like killing yourself slowly to make a living. And you're like, what kind of living is this? And so some of you might be re-examining the kind of work that you're doing or the company that you're working for. And you're saying, I'm giving up something much more valuable than the paycheck I'm getting at the end of the week. I feel some of you are realizing that you're sacrificing your health, and you're like, okay, it's time to stop doing that. So now how do I get out of this? How do I transition out of this? And so you're being led and guided to make changes so that you're not having to sacrifice so much of yourself. Your next card that's coming up here for you, Virgo, is the 5 of Wands. See? 5 of Wands is conflicting interests. It's like you know what you want, but your life is not really aligned with where you want to go, right? Like if it was my dream to be, I can't surf to save my life, and I don't have any interest in surfing, right? But if it was my dream to be a surfer, I'm just giving an example. It was my dream to like be the best surfer in my country and to win like the top honors and the top trophy. And I just had this dream to be like this amazing surfer, right? But I lived somewhere where there was no beaches, right? I went and I moved to like, I don't know, somewhere in the desert, right? I'm like living deep in the desert and there's no ocean anywhere near me for hundreds of miles, but I keep dreaming that I'm going to be an amazing surfer. I'm not living my life aligned with what I'm trying to accomplish, right? I'm not in the right place. I'm not doing anything to work towards that passion of mine. And so 5 of Wands can come up when we have certain passions and we just feel very miserable because there's certain things we're really wanting to do, we're feeling guided to do. However, we're not living aligned with it. Okay? I also want to say this with the 5 of Wands. It can be disagreements and arguments. And because we're coming up on the full moon in Aries, there can be disagreements and arguments. And especially if emotions and tensions are running high. Some of you feel very frustrated because you've been making sacrifices that are not going noticed and they're not being appreciated. And it's interesting because there was a certain vibe for Libra. So some of you could be dealing with a Libra, or some of you could have a Libra placement, and this is coming in as like an emphasized message where you're just really feeling underappreciated, and though it might be unlike you, Virgo, you might just let somebody have it. Or you might say something and they get offended and they let you have it. But there could be a disagreement coming up because you've been making sacrifices for too long. And in your heart of hearts, you don't want to make those sacrifices anymore. You want to live your life and you want to be fulfilled and you want to be happy. So I feel like some of you by the end of the week, or maybe even sooner, or maybe you've already made the decision and this week you're getting going, but you're making the decision to disconnect from this heavy anchor, from this ball and chain. You're like, I'm not carrying this anymore. I'm separating myself from this situation. So maybe some of you are moving out of a stressful or toxic living environment or living situation. You're making arrangements to go stay with a friend, or you're getting your own place, or you're finding somebody else to move in with, right? Or like I said, a work situation, right? You're getting your ducks in a row to where you could leave that unhealthy situation and make money elsewhere in some other way. So I feel you're making a decision to disconnect from whatever it is that's not aligned with what you want and where you're trying to go. You're saying, I'm not going to keep myself tied to this anymore. And you're freeing yourself from the bad situation. Your next card that's coming up here, Virgo, is the Knight of Swords. That gives me chills, guys. I'm not going to lie. That gives me chills. Because when I'm reading the cards and I start reading the energy, as I'm reading the energy, sometimes I get ahead of the cards. And the Knight of Swords is confirming that for me. The Knight of Swords here is disagreements, arguments, right? It could even be drama. It could be being steamrolled. So some of you Virgos are finding that you might be speaking up because your original intention is to try to come to a solution, to try to come to like a decent, balanced compromise. Yet this person is coming at you harder and they're steamrolling. And they're like, no, Virgo, you're wrong. No, Virgo, it has to be this way. So you're being met with this like opposition and like with this insistence that this is how it has to be. It's good that it's this way. It's good for you. You don't know what's good for you. This is how we're going to do it. Right? And so I feel, Virgo, a lot of you are like, no, I'm sorry, Knight of Swords, but no, that's not how it's going to be. Now, Knight of Swords is going to escalate. Knight of Swords is drama. It doesn't have to be explosive. It doesn't have to be drama. All Virgo has to do is step away quietly to remove themselves from the situation. So some of you might be doing this in a way where you're realizing, you know what? Emotions are high right now. I don't want the situation to escalate. I've told them what I want. They don't hear me. They're doubling down. They're coming at me harder. There's no sense in trying to reason with this person. And so some of you are making a very silent getaway, right? Like you're planning to get out of the situation without really telling them. Especially if you're like in a toxic living situation. You know, you might say, okay, you know what? I don't want them blowing up at me. I don't want it to become like a domestic disturbance. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to play it cool. I'm going to let them calm down. And then when I have a chance without getting caught, I'm going to go ahead and pack my bags and get my stuff and get the heck out of here. Some of you might slip out very quietly in that kind of way. Or if it's like a toxic work situation, you're like, I can't give this place 2 weeks notice. Let me hurry up and find something and then I'm out of here. I'm gone. I'm not giving this any more time because it's so toxic or so negative, right? So I feel, Virgo, a lot of you are planning some kind of great escape, okay? And I feel it's going to be successful. You're being led, you're being guided, you're being protected. The important thing here is that you stop sacrificing your health and your sanity for situations that are just feeding off of you. I feel many of you are breaking out of something very parasitic. And once you get out of it, you're going to realize how burdened and how heavy how weighed down you were. That once you're out of it, it's like you feel so free and so light that so much happiness and joy is coming to you so quickly. You're able to accomplish goals and dreams and hopes so easily because you all of a sudden have so much more energy, and things begin to feel very effortless, and you're like, wow, progress is coming to me so quickly now. So it's a very positive shift. Okay, I know a lot of people feel stuck right now, and so for that reason I've began offering the personalized affirmations again. It takes a lot of reading, it takes a lot of energy for me to do the affirmation readings because I really try to connect with the person as deep as I can, and I look for any blocks that I can pick up and then any messages about how to overcome those blocks. And depending on what comes up in the reading at the end, I do a special customized affirmation for you to incorporate in your spiritual practice. I used to do it a long time ago and I stopped because I couldn't devote the energy to it. And now I'm doing it again because I realize a lot of people need it. And I know it's hard times right now, so I'm even charging less than half that I used to charge. So I've decreased the price greatly. And I'm calling that the Rut Buster. That's on the calendar for anybody who wants that. But I still have all the other readings that you guys are used to that are being offered on the calendar as well for personal readings. You guys be sure to check out your moon sign and rising sign videos as well. Some weeks that might add a little extra information, or it might resonate with you more, especially if you can't afford a private reading right now. Watching your moon sign, rising sign, Venus sign, even though these are general videos, those are your personal placements. That's your specific energy. So it can be helpful to watch those to get something a little bit more personalized, even though they're still general readings. Don't forget, those of you who want love and romance, the love and romance readings are in the description. November love and romance readings will be up soon. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Take care, Virgo.